welcome to today's RUC People, and I'm delighted to be joined by the man who's usually behind the camera, but who today is in front and going to be telling us a little bit about his life and what he's doing. So welcome Aristide Akamana.
Thank you very much, Russell. I'm not normally in front of the camera, I'm behind the camera, but I thank you for having me today.
We're looking forward to it. So, Ari, tell us a little bit about, why you came to be behind the camera and how you're doing what you're doing now.
I mostly started as a filmmaker, not necessarily a videographer. So I grew up watching a lot of television, and I noticed a lot of Hollywood movies telling African stories and not necessarily always doing them right. So it's like a lack of representation in our identity, in the African identity, and if something's going to be done, it should be done right. And I just wanted to tell African stories and do it the right way. So that's what I aspire to do. That's what I want to do eventually. And so right now, I guess I'm still kind of building myself up, and that's heading.
Well, that's fascinating. So telling African stories in an African way with authenticity. And did that start quite young? I mean, were you always into movies and films?
Yeah, it started quite young. I remember, so I had a lack of a social life when I was a kid, and so my parents were studying at UWC, and I was already born at the time. I was on campus, the only kid on campus. I watched a lot of TV. And I just thought to myself, like, I could do that one day, and that's where it just sort of happened, and yeah.
And so, what was the sort of the pathway to get where you got now? What did you have to do?
A lot of arguing with my parents on like why I want to do film. It's like it's not the traditional sense of a career. It's like especially in African households, either doctor, lawyer, or accountant, a teacher, that kind of vibe. Yeah. It's and also because my dad is like he works at Valkenburg Hospital. My parents work in hospitals. Okay, they're doing pretty well for themselves, and whereas I sort of fell off the bandwagon, but like eventually I proved to myself to them, and I showed them why this is what I want to do, and they support me. They fully behind me, and that's what I'm really happy about. So yeah.
Cool. And so, did you study film, and where?
Yeah, I studied film at City Varsity, and I did a degree course. It was a bit tricky for me, but like the theoretical part, I've always been more of a hands-on kind of person. I like working with my hands. I can't explain to you how I'm gonna do that job, but I'll do it for you, and you're just gonna have to watch and see. But yeah, that's it.
Cool. And did you enjoy the study?
Yeah, I did. But like I mentioned, I hated the theory part because my practical work was always very, very excellent in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And is there a particular genre of film you want to get into, and what kind of things are you hoping to do with it?
Not necessarily. I think like as human beings, we experience different emotions or have different moods every now and then. So if I feel the mood of doing a comedy, it's like I'll do a comedy. It's like or like a drama, or at the end of the day, I do want to tell real stories. Yeah. But at the same time, I also have different genres that I want to explore. I recently did a drama, and then but right now I'm currently working on a comedy, and yeah.
Okay. And so the comedy is your main project at the moment. I mean, do you have some other things in mind where you're wanting to work on?
Documentaries actually. Okay. So I've been inspired by a few people, and I want to get even more in depth on realism as well. So if you take away the whole fiction part of film, you can look at documentaries, and they're really good. They actually, I mean, a lot of people don't actually enjoy documentaries, but I actually find them very exciting sometimes. Yeah.
So if people watching this would like to check out some of your work, how would they do that?
I do have a YouTube channel. I do have a YouTube channel that I started. I have some of my work up on there. Okay. And it just has my full name, Aristide Akamana. If you type that into YouTube, and you'll find it. And yeah.
Cool. So Aristide, I know you're not originally from South Africa.
Right.
And there's quite a story behind you and your family coming here. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, so my parents, my family, we are from Burundi, I was born in Burundi. A lot of people don't realize that. I wasn't born in South Africa. I was born there. Arrived in South Africa when I was like just over a year old. So I guess I'm as South African as it gets, but not really. I was born there, raised here. It was quite a tricky time during the transition between Burundi and South Africa, because at the time there was a war. That's why we left. So at the time, my family got the title of refugee. It took a while before our family received a settlement in South Africa, and but we've come a long way. And like my parents want to go back at a later stage, but I think for now they're just staying. I mean, like I mentioned, my parents are doing well for themselves here, and they managed to raise a family here. I have two younger sisters, and it's like my sisters were born here, so it's our new life, it's our home. So
Do you ever see yourself going back to Burundi? Do you identify as a Burundian, or do you sort of think of yourself as a South African?
Okay, so Burundi is our family home, in the sense that's where our roots are. But I see myself as a Cape Townian. Cape Town is my home away from home.
Yeah.
It's my life is here. I grew up here. My friends are here, and it's where I went to school. It's where I learned to play rugby and all. And so
Sure. So how was the early years? You know, if you've just you said you were born here, so maybe it wasn't that different to
I was
other
born
kids.
there.
Oh, sorry, you were born in Burundi. Sorry, but you were here from the age of 1.
Yeah.
But I mean, going to school, did you feel like you're a South African, or did you feel different in some way as a Burundian? You know.
So not necessarily feeling like I'm a South African, because I obviously, I don't know, South Africa obviously has a history of xenophobia and all. So like, I would be reminded every now and then, but at the same time, like I would feel proud of my heritage. I would feel like, okay, I know I'm not from here, but I'm here now. Okay, so today people ask me what to identify as Burundian or South African. I say it's too bad to have both.
Yeah.
It's like I'm Burundian South African, and it's like how you get African American. So it's
And is your family connected with, you know, the Burundian community here, and has that been part of your identity at all? Or?
So there is a Burundian community in South Africa, which surprisingly a lot of people don't realize, because it's a small country, but yet there's like a lot of us here.
Yeah.
And obviously, so when the war happened in Burundi, people had to scatter. People scattered around the world. So I actually have family around the world, and like it's throughout my life, it was a thing about like, oh, I heard my aunt made it to California. She's alive. She made it out, and it's like you had to like drop everything and run. You left your brother behind, not knowing if they're alive or not, if they're somewhere in the world, and just hoping through Facebook maybe they are. You can look them up and find out that they're there.
Yeah, sure. Wow. So, how were your school years? Did you enjoy school?
I think my school years are, just as any other kid. I mean, like I mentioned before, I've always been just more hands-on. I don't really like theory. Although I did love my art classes. I loved them a lot, and that's where I also excelled in my drawing, my painting, and I do that a lot from time to time. And that's but otherwise, like obviously I mentioned, like, okay, I was good at maths, okay, not as good as I wanted to be, but I was good enough. I was good enough of a student. Not a bad student, but good enough.
Okay. And did you have good friends at school?
Yeah, I mean, I went to many schools. I was always re-enrolling in different schools because I didn't really fit in, or my family was just moving around a lot. But so it's not like I have childhood friends or anything. I think my only childhood friends are within the Burundian community and at RUC.
Yeah.
So it's not like I have friends from grade 1 in my school. Like I lost those when I moved around. I've been to four different primary schools.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. But otherwise, I have really great friends like the guy behind the camera today.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. And Aristide, you mentioned RUC. I mean, you've been at RUC, I guess, right from a very young age.
Yeah.
And has it been an important part of your life and your social life and your spiritual life, I guess?
Yeah, it has been. I come from a very religious family. My mom, she was a Catholic, and my dad right now is currently a minister at a different church now. And it's so like even through the times when I was questioning religion, whenever I had any questions or any doubts of any beliefs that that was enforced onto me, I always felt welcome at RUC. I always felt like it was a community. It was so it's like putting humanity before religion kind of vibe. It's like no matter what, this is your home. They made me feel like, okay, that I'm welcomed here. And it's not necessarily like I go to church every Sunday and that's it. Like we would have a youth events, or some people from the congregation would actually meet up during the week. Like Robert would invite my family over for dinner, or he would come over to us, and then the Shea family, or vice versa. It would like we would just have like gatherings here and there, church picnics, or it was more than just a congregation where we sang gospel songs every day. So no, yeah, that was very nice.
And I guess as you got older, you've become more involved at RUC, or you're now a member on the church council, and heavily involved with the video services and RUC people. I know there was a point where your family decided to leave RUC and go to I think a Burundian church. Was it a temptation for you to join them, but you decided to stay? Why was that?
No, I think I understand. My parents still like they for the time being they do watch the online services, the sermons, and I think it was a big decision because at the end of the day, if I look at it at their point of view, they grew up in the Burundian environment. Okay, so if I, let's say, moved to China and I found out there's an English speaking congregation, I might just go there and leave the.
Yeah.
Well, at that time, RC became my home, so I stayed, and yeah.
Cool. And Aristide, what's been, if you think, have there been sort of turning points in your life where, you were feeling like you could have gone in either direction, and you were at a crossroad and you took a decision that this is what I'm going to do? When you look back, can you see were there particular moments that were really important for you?
Not necessarily. I think, I'm trying to live my life without regrets, and I'm just trying to so not looking at the bad stuff all the time. I'm trying to also remember the good stuff. So yes, I was let's say yes, I was kicked out I wasn't kicked out, but I had to leave my country at a young age. But I also found a home somewhere else where a lot of people didn't find a home, and I'm just trying to look at all the good and positive stuff. For instance, I am a black man in a country that puts me at a disadvantage, but I'm also a young privileged black man, and yeah, I just try to look at the positives and yeah.
Okay. And I guess to get through your studies and get to where you are now, you've had to do other odd jobs on the side, and tell us about some of your experiences with that.
I think it was mostly just pride. Because my parents were studying and working and raising me and my sister at the same time. So my parents, by the time they were able to afford to go to university, I was already born, so was my sister Donovan. And yeah, so we stayed on campus with them. It was tricky, but they did it. They did all three, and they raised us and worked, and yeah, it is. So I think when I was in college, I felt a bit of pride and stubbornness, and so okay, I know my parents did all that. I'll do it as well, without the kid part though. It's like I'll keep the kids like for a later stage. But now I'm gonna work and just put myself through college. I'm gonna study, and yeah. So I was just stubborn on that. I mean, my parents offered to help. They obviously are my safety net, but I had the initiative. Okay, no, I want to work and be able to take care of myself. It's like emerging into a young man that I am. Yeah.
So what did you do?
I delivered pizza. And I did a few odd jobs here and there, like wedding videos and just a few music videos here and there, just trying to So I was while I was studying film, I also did filmmaking and videography. So yeah.
Cool. And how has COVID affected you? I mean, it's been pretty tough for a lot of people in in this industry. I would
Yeah.
assume. What kind of impact has that had on you?
Yeah, it has. At first it hit us hard in the film industry, because obviously the film industry is a collaborative industry, and right now it's sort of picking up. But at first it really put a stop to everything, and
Yeah.
that was it was a bit tricky at first because I really didn't do anything. But I guess at the time I was also still delivering pizza at the time, so I guess since we were food wise after the hard lockdown, we we were allowed to drive again, so that kept me afloat. So yeah.
Cool.
But at the end of the day, I also still had my parents to back me up should I need anything. So I wouldn't say that I was suffering because my parents are essential workers. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And tell us, what does fun look like for Aristide? If you're not making films, and what do you like to do for fun?
For the time being, I enjoy hiking. I enjoy going to Newlands Forest or Lion's Head, or I try to do it with my friend every now and then, like once a week. Try to do it. So after church, when I come to Rondebosch, my friend lives in Rondebosch. I just say, yo, let's go on a hike to Newlands Forest, which is right here. So
Right.
yeah, we don't really have an excuse to not keep fit or keep active, and yeah, that's otherwise. Other than that, I watch movies when I'm not making movies. I watch a lot of them,
Yeah.
and
What kind of movies do you like?
just depends on the mood I'm in. I would like a comedy, action comedy kind of vibe. Yeah, I love my action comedy. I want to try doing that kind of stuff as well. So yeah.
Okay. I hear a little bird tells me you're also getting into dancing these days. So.
Yeah, your wife has been trying to get me into dancing these days. Yeah, it's been nice. It's been nice. I don't have really much of a social life this year. I noticed that I didn't really have much of a social life. Obviously, because of COVID, we had to all social distance from time to time, and I guess I hang back on all the clubbing and all that, and well. Yeah, not that I used to do much clubbing before, but I guess all the bar scenes were cut out there, and so yeah, Selena just invited me out, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll come out now and then, sure, just to relight the social butterfly inside of me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Ari, as you look forward, are there particular things you're looking forward to? Where do you see yourself in the next sort of 2-3 years? What are you hoping for?
Oh, that's a tough question. I'm trying to live it by the day, but at the same time, I hope on I hope on just keep striving to do my best. I hope on learning.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, we never stop learning, but I actually, on every project that I've done in my career, I always notice myself progressing and becoming better and better. And I hope that it was a real wake-up call when I was doing the RUC services.
Yeah.
Me and Prince, we started it together, and we from day one we weren't at our best, but we've evolved, and I was proud of that. But then it got to a stage where it became repetitive. Like, okay, we're not getting any better now. This video feels just as good as the last one, which is not a bad thing, but how can we become better? And we're just working on ourselves to, okay, let's not get bored, let's not get too comfortable, let's try to get better. So I guess me and Prince don't focus on the RUC services. I guess we use it as, I wouldn't say practice, but as a way of improvement. It's we don't always have something going on all the time, but we have this thing going on weekly. So okay, let's try to make this one better than the last week, and that's what we're trying to do every week. Yeah.
Sure. Cool. The other thing I'm just interested to hear you reflect on is your experience with Holy Circus. You have been a teacher for a while. Have you always enjoyed working with kids, and how did you find it?
Yeah, I think, okay, so I have a younger sister who's 13 years younger than me. She's 10 years old. So I think that always, I guess I always have a kid not in the house, but I guess she makes me relive my younger days as well. Yeah. It's like when I was 17 years old, I could still sing the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse song, and I don't know, being in the Holy Circus environment was just, it wasn't unfamiliar because I had a kid at home who my sister, and being Holy Circus was nice. It was also a way for me to give back. Okay, because obviously I was a member of the Holy Circus when I was younger, and the church did help me and my family when I was younger as well. So I see me being part of the Holy Circus and being a part of the council as me giving back, and just trying to be here and trying to do something.
Well, Aristide, I think on behalf of everyone who's been watching these RUC People episodes, we want to thank you for all your hard work in putting them together, doing all the editing. It's nice to see the face that's usually behind the camera and to hear a bit of your story.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, and also for all your work with the RUC weekly services. I mean, I think it's been very important for so many people during the whole COVID period, and a way to stay connected, and it's gone much beyond the people who might ordinarily just attend on a Sunday. It's gone all around the world, and so it's been a really important ministry. So thank you on behalf of everyone for all of that.
Oh, thank you for giving me the opportunity to give back, I guess. So like I mentioned, I mean, this is actually makes me feel okay, like I'm contributing.
You certainly are. Thanks, Aristide.
Cool.